In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly taught to give, to serve, and to push ourselves beyond our limits. But what if I told you that in order to truly succeed, in order to be your best self, you need to learn how to prioritize your own preferences? This concept might seem counterintuitive, especially when we are conditioned to believe that prioritizing ourselves is selfish. However, there's a deep wisdom in learning how to honor your own needs while still serving others. This idea is not new. It's a core teaching of Buddhism and the Zen way of life. And today I'm going to share with you a powerful story that illustrates why prioritizing yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. In the mountains, where the air is thin, crisp, and filled with the scent of pine trees, there existed a centuries-old Shaolin temple. It was a place of serenity, far removed from the distractions of modern life, where young monks dedicated themselves to rigorous training. Here, in the temple courtyard, one could hear the rhythmic sound of monks practicing martial arts, their movements swift yet graceful, their minds focused and clear. These monks were guided by Master Li, a venerable monk who had spent decades mastering the ancient arts of both body and mind. Master Li was known not just for his physical prowess, but for his deep understanding of Buddhist teachings and the wisdom he shared with his disciples. He taught them how to be strong not just in body but in spirit, and how to find balance between the demands of the outside world and the inner peace that each person craves. Among these monks was Tao, a diligent young man with a fierce determination to be the best. Tao was well respected by his fellow monks for his work ethic. He trained harder than anyone, often practicing late into the night. When his peers needed help, he was the first to offer his assistance, whether it was cleaning the temple, fetching water, or taking on extra tasks. Tao believed that by serving others and working tirelessly, he would eventually find the peace and fulfillment he sought. But despite his outward dedication, Tao was often plagued by an inexplicable feeling of emptiness. For months, Tao felt that something was missing in his life, though he couldn't quite understand what it was. His days were full of activity, yet he felt disconnected, almost as though he was on autopilot, moving through life without truly living it. Every time he sat down to meditate, his mind was restless, filled with thoughts of everything he had to do for others and how he could never fall short of the expectations placed on him. The more he gave, the more drained he felt, as though his energy was being siphoned away. It was in these quiet moments, sitting in meditation, that Tao began to question whether this constant giving was leading him to the peace and happiness he was seeking. He asked himself, if I am doing everything right, why do I feel so wrong? The answer wasn't clear to him yet, but the weight of this internal struggle was becoming harder to ignore. One evening, after an especially grueling day of training and chores, Tao sat under the temple's great Bodhi tree, staring out at the setting sun. The sky was painted with hues of orange and pink, yet Tao found no joy in its beauty. His heart was heavy with confusion. Sensing this, Master Li, who had been observing Tao's dedication and his growing weariness, approached the young monk. "Tao," Master Li said softly, sitting beside him, "I see you have been working very hard, but tell me, my young disciple, how do you feel inside?" Tao, unsure whether he should speak honestly, hesitated for a moment before finally admitting, "Master, I feel empty. No matter how much I do for the temple, for the other monks, or for you, it feels like something is missing. I am doing everything that is asked of me, yet I am not at peace." "Why is that?" Master Li nodded, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "You remind me of myself when I was your age," he said. "I too believed that the path to enlightenment was through constant service to others. I gave all of my energy, all of my time, all of my attention to everyone around me, thinking that if I just worked hard enough, I would eventually find inner peace. But," Master Li continued, "what I failed to understand at the time, and what I see also struggling with, is that true peace comes from within. No amount of external service can fill the emptiness inside you if you do not first tend to your own needs. Tao was confused. But, Master, how can I focus on myself without neglecting my duties or becoming selfish? Master Li smiled again. This is the balance we must learn, Tao. Prioritizing your own preferences and needs does not mean abandoning others or shirking your responsibilities. It means recognizing that in order to serve others, you must first be in a state of wholeness yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you do not honor your own needs, if you do not care for yourself, how can you truly help others? Master Li stood up and motioned for Tao to follow him. Together they walked to the temple's meditation hall, a place of calm and reflection. In the center of the hall was a large bowl of clear water, perfectly still. Master Li knelt down beside it and dipped a small cup into the bowl, filling it with water. "Watch carefully," he instructed as he poured the water back into the bowl, causing ripples to spread across the surface. The once clear water now distorted the reflection of the room around it. "This is your mind, Tao," Master Li explained. "When you give and give, without taking time for yourself, your inner world becomes like this water, disturbed, agitated, and unable to reflect the truth. Your peace, your clarity, is lost in the ripples of external demands. But watch." Master Li remained silent for a few moments, and slowly the water became still again, its surface once more reflecting the room with perfect clarity. When you take the time to honor your own needs, when you prioritize your inner peace, you become like this still water, calm, clear, and reflective. From this place of clarity, you are able to serve others more fully, more effectively, and with greater compassion. Over the following weeks, Tao began to integrate Master Li's teachings into his daily life. At first, it felt strange to prioritize his own preferences. He was used to saying yes to every request, always putting the needs of others before his own, but now he took a different approach. Each morning, Tao would begin his day with meditation, not just to clear his mind, but to check in with himself. "What do I need today?" he would ask. Sometimes the answer was more rest. Other times it was more focus on his personal practice or spending time in solitude to reflect. He learned to say no when taking on more would mean sacrificing his own well-being. Tao's fellow monks noticed the change. They saw how much calmer and more centered he had become. His actions were still kind and generous, but there was a new sense of balance in how he carried himself. He was no longer running himself ragged, trying to please everyone. Instead, he was able to offer his help from a place of true abundance, because he had learned to care for himself first. One day, a younger monk approached Tao, asking for advice. "Brother Tao," he said, "I see how peaceful you've become. How did you do it?" Tao smiled, remembering his own struggles. "I learned that to help others, I must first help myself. By honoring my own needs and preferences, I found the strength to give more fully to those around me. Remember, you cannot serve from an empty cup. Fill your own cup first, and you will have more than enough to share." Tao's journey is one that many of us can relate to. In today's world, we are constantly told to hustle, to give, to work harder, to do more. But there's a deeper truth that often gets overlooked. You cannot give your best to the world if you are constantly neglecting yourself. Buddha taught that the path to enlightenment begins within. It is not about abandoning the world, but about finding balance between caring for yourself and caring for others. Prioritizing your own preferences doesn't make you selfish. It makes you strong. It gives you the clarity, the energy, and the peace of mind to offer your best self to the world. When you take time for yourself, when you honor your needs and preferences, you become like the still water in Master Li's lesson, calm, clear, and able to reflect the truth. And from that place of peace, you can truly serve others. As you navigate the demands of daily life, remember Tao's lesson: you must learn to prioritize your own preferences. Ask yourself, what do I need today? And listen to the answer. Make time for yourself, honor your needs, and you will find that you have more to give to the world around you. Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill your own cup first and watch how much more you have to offer those around you.